Well, you guys, if you didn't watch my episode, I think it was probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where I was saying that I wanted to plant a fall crop of potatoes. So here are the potatoes. They came up very fast. And also, if you had seen the episode, I had talked about this was where I had my compost. Now, it was a 6x6 fenced in area, and it had gone down so far, or I'd used so much of it, there wasn't really any reason to have it here anymore. So I took the boards down. I was able to use them in my trellis for my chayote squash. So it was a nice repurposing of wood there, for one thing. Plus, they came up so fast that I haven't been able to get out here to hill them up. So I was going to do that today. But I've noticed, since it was a compost pile, all kinds of things have come up in this soil, not just the potatoes. So I was searching around to see if all the potatoes had come up, and I think most of them have. I was searching for one down here in the corner because I knew there was one here, and here he is. He's coming up. He's only about 1 inch to 2 inches tall. But the rest of these guys are really getting huge, and I noticed that there's cracking down around the bottom. Well, as I pulled away that soil, I noticed that they're already starting to put on pretty good sized potatoes. Now, this hasn't been that long that these have been in here, and the ones that had the cracked soil around the top already have potatoes that are almost medium size. So I really need to get them hilled up. Well, you guys, this is my sweet potato bed, and it's mixed together with my Pershing cherry tomatoes. Now, I can't seem to get to the tomatoes and pick them because all of the sweet potatoes are in the way. Now, these are, I believe they're called Hannah Sweets, and they're just a white sweet potato. They taste really good when they're first picked. Now, I believe if you leave your sweet potatoes for a couple of weeks, then they start to get sweeter. But I had eaten the one that I picked right away, and it tasted along the lines of a cross between a russet and a Yukon Gold, and it was really good. I didn't care if it wasn't sweet. But I did try growing regular sweet potatoes. I couldn't get any of them to grow, couldn't get any slips growing on any of them. But I was telling my daughter about this, and she said, "Mom, I've got a sweet potato or sweet potatoes, and they're sending out roots and they're growing. Do you want my plant?" So anyway, out of one sweet potato that she gave me, I got at least 10 to 15 slips off of that. So after the slips started growing, I took some bamboo and I built a teepee here, and the slips grew up the teepee, and they even went up and over the fence. But as they got longer, I just pulled it back over. The teepee kind of fell in on itself. And I was afraid that if I tripped and fell, that I might fall on one of those bamboo stakes, which is something I might do. So we're gonna take the sweet potatoes out today. Like I said, I believe I said they're called Hannah Whites or Hannah Sweets. Anyway, I've never heard of those before. They are white, they taste very good, and I'm going to keep growing them. If I can't grow regular potatoes, then I'm gonna grow sweet potatoes. So come on over, we'll pull the sweet potatoes. I've got a little box that I put a bag in, and we'll just stick them in there, and we'll go for it. Anyway, come on over and we'll get started. Well, everybody, I am no expert on sweet potatoes. This is the first year I've ever grown sweet potatoes, but I love them. I will buy them at the health food store, and now that I know I can grow them here at my house, I'll definitely be growing them every year. But one thing I do know is that sweet potatoes are related to the morning glory family. And I was just picking some flowers to compare the flowers. Now, my morning glory flowers, they went down in the water and they got kind of crumpled up. But they look exactly like the sweet potato flowers, except that the sweet potato flowers are open and the morning glories aren't. But they're exactly the same except for a different color. And I thought that was really interesting. This is normally a shady side of my house for a long time during the day. And then right around 1 o'clock, it starts getting sunny here. And this is what I normally call my cinder block bed. And the soil is more or less a sandy loam. So what I've been doing is transplanting all of my strawberries from the front yard back here to the cinder block bed, and I thought I would just leave this whole bed just nothing but strawberries. So it looks like we're getting down to where the potatoes would be. Well, I'm finding some really good sized sweet potatoes, so these have been in the ground long enough. I'm trying to think when I planted these, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll put a date down below as to when I think I planted them, because like I said, my daughter's sweet potato that was sending out the little slips, it would just send one out, I'd break it off and plant it, and then it would send another one out, I'd break it off and plant it. So these have been planted over a series of probably a month they were planted over, and then I just let them grow. Now this area had the most slips. It probably had 6 or 7, and then as I got more, I kind of went down in front of the cherry tomatoes. So those are 2 good looking ones. Oops, here's one down here. Nice one. That would be good if it was just a regular potato. I also have read that you're supposed to cure the potatoes by leaving them for a couple of weeks. Don't wash them, don't do anything with them, don't take the dirt off, and just let them cure for a couple of weeks, and as you do, they start getting sweeter. So I guess depending on what you want the taste to be, then you can either cure it for 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks. Now these sweet potato vines grow so fast and so long. I was really surprised at how far they reached out into the bed and that they even went over the fence. Now, I don't want to pull my cherry tomatoes out, but I am going to get more of this greenery off. Now when I was reading about sweet potatoes, there was just so much that I was really surprised about. Talking about them being perennial plants or perennial vines, and I thought, well, that would be great if I can grow this as a perennial vine. Now this area right here, possibly that area with the roots, it's got one little tiny sweet potato on it, but possibly if I can cut that with my nippers, which has some vine on it, and then it's got this root system, maybe I can keep growing that as just a perennial vine, just like a morning glory. So I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm going to set that in some water and see if I can get the roots to keep growing. And cut some of these Pershing cherry tomatoes back too. And they put on the best tasting, these are some of the best tasting cherry tomatoes I have ever had. These are my Pershing cherries, and these are the ones that, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, I found them growing by the side of the road, I think down by an orchard. And every year that we took a walk, these Pershing cherry tomatoes were growing by the side of the road, so I knew that they were hardy, and they had tomatoes all over them. So this is 7 or 8 years of finally picking one of those tomatoes, bringing it home and growing it every year. So when I do have the seeds to these dried out, I'll go ahead and let you guys know, and I'll have you send me your address, and I'll ship some of these seeds off to you in the mail. Let's see how many sweet potatoes I have just from one potato. Now, I got a few of these with the pitchfork, just a little bit, but we're definitely going to eat some of these tonight. So that one I really got, that's tonight's meal. I don't know about that one. Let's see. Kind of separate these out. Oh, I put my cherry tomatoes in there too, underneath them all. So that'll be great if I can cure a couple of these and I can get slips to grow on them next year. What I'll do is I'll just take like 2 of the best looking ones, no scratches or anything. I won't take the dirt off of them. Now some of these didn't get very big, but as I said, as I planted the slips, I staggered them out over probably a period of a month, month and a half, just as that one potato put out slips. So that looks pretty good. Well, you guys, thanks for sticking with me today to see my sweet potato harvest. I'm so happy that I grew these this year. With all the difficulty I had, then to get that many plants out of one potato, I'm just really happy. And the other thing is to know that everything they have in them with the beta carotene, the manganese, malic acid, those are all things that I need to take, or that the doctor told me I should take. So after these are gone, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start buying them from the health food store. So anyway, guys, thanks for being with me today, and I'll talk to you later. God bless. Bye-bye. My other harvest today.